might be here until 3 a.m. because last time I wouldn't say last time, but it was a couple of weeks ago. You were in studio. I was out at SunTrust Park.
Yep.
And it was the marathon game, a 3.5-hour rain delay. And luckily Atlanta won that game, but they did not tonight. A tough 3-2 loss as they now fall to 2-5 on their 9-game road trip.
Just absolutely insane the way that went down tonight. Again, Fultonavich, like, we can say what we want about the starting pitching struggles with this Braves baseball team. Fultonavich gave him everything he had tonight. What was it, 10 strikeouts? I mean, handed it to Jim Johnson, and of course, he became gas can Jim Johnson. Blew the save in the ninth inning with, 2 outs?
Yeah, 2 outs, and then Atlanta was a strike away from picking up the win, and that's the tough part is Jim Johnson. I mean, we saw him do this a couple weeks ago at home, and he's been a guy that you can rely on. Atlanta's been able to rely on him for a lot of parts, but tonight I felt so bad. You say Navich, I say Nevich. It's tomato, but I thought it was a great game, by Mike, and he did such a great job matching 10 career strikeouts. It's the second time he's done that in his career, and pitched so well. But, if you're Brian Snitker, you have to rely on your bullpen. And it didn't happen tonight with Johnson. So, gives up the 2 tying runs, and then Ramirez comes there in the 10th, and Devin Mesoraco, bye-bye baseball. Yeah,
if we could just rewind, 15 days ago, 12 days ago, when the bullpen was not hittable. I mean, they went, almost 20 innings without giving up a hit or run.
Like 24 innings. Yeah, it's crazy.
It was insane. And then all of a sudden, they've just absolutely fallen apart these last, 6-8 games. They've been unbelievably bad.
Yeah, and, I think the real stinger about this game is the Reds aren't, a great team by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, they're sitting in 4th place in the NL Central Division right now at 25-28 coming into play tonight. But then also, you got to look at this road trip in whole. Atlanta's coming off of losing 2 out of 3 against an Angels team that is, to be honest, they're just not very good. They lost their best player. They lost Mike Trout.
Without their best player, you drop 2 of 3.
Right, and I think that's the stinger. So whenever you get an outing like that, as you said, Jeff, 7 innings, only 2 hits allowed, 10 strikeouts for Fultonavich, to have your bullpen just not be able to carry you past the final finish line, it makes it tough.
On the bright side, right? Because
there's one of those today.
Yes, I do want to talk about Dansby Swanson for just a minute, right? Because I sent out a tweet earlier this week. By the way, follow the station at 92 on the game. Follow myself at Can Be Vexing. Follow Justin, I think, at Baker Broadcasting.
At Baker Broadcast. There's not enough characters for the ING.
My bad.
It's all good.
Come on, Twitter. Look, we heard some things about Dansby Swanson. We'll get into in just a minute. Some stupidity, right? We'll get into that in just a second. Dansby tonight, though, 2 for 4, home run. He's played much better. I know he came out, he struggled in April. So when you look at his numbers overall, it's going to be kind of skewed because he's still a rookie. He's played 80 Major League Baseball games at this point, including last year. He's still a rookie. He's still learning on the job here. Cut him some slack, but tonight the bright side again, 2 for 4, a home run. You love the fact that he's starting to get within the swing of things, no pun intended. Got to.
And that's the thing is baseball's a game of streaks. It's up and downs. This team has embodied that all year. They've won, I think 4 games or more, 3 different times. They've lost 5 games or more 4 different times. So it's been up and down, and Swanson's kind of the embodiment of that. And the thing is they call it the sophomore slump in baseball. I don't know that you can necessarily call it that because Swanson only played a handful of games in September last year. But I'll be honest with you, and another guy on our station, Kyle Tate, was, before he joined 99, was the voice of the Mississippi Braves. Mm-hmm. He saw Swanson a lot last year, and when Swanson got called up, to the big leagues, he and I both said, this kid's not ready. And, I'll always admit when I'm wrong. He proved me wrong. At that point, he was batting 287 at the end of the year, had a great, first start to his career, but he's regressed this year. And, I think it's a problem where he's chasing bad pitches outside the zone. He's not sitting back and looking for the fastball. And this guy's not meant to come in here and hit 30 home runs, Jeff.
Right.
But you need him to bat, if he was going to bat at the second spot in the lineup most of the year, he needs to bat 300 or plus, maybe 287 plus. And he hadn't been able to do that. I thought the move down was good. It takes some of the pressure off of him.
It should have been done quicker, though. I think Snitker waited way too long to make that move.
And I think there's the confidence factor there. That guy will never show it. I mean, you've been in that clubhouse. Yeah. He's not going to ever show it. But I think there's some visible frustration for how his season started. It was good to see him hit the home run. I know I've been negative for the last 30 seconds, but it was a good home run. He had a good game. I think the one thing that we need to not forget, though, about Swanson is although his bat is picking up, the dude's got to play some better defense.
the Braves as a whole have to play much better defense. I mean, you're talking about the team second to dead last in Major League Baseball in errors. They're averaging almost 1 a game. Only the Oakland A's are worse than that, and they're at, what are they, at like 57 errors right now through 48 games or whatever it is.
Right.
But when it comes to Dansby, look, one of our coworkers here that I have a lot of respect for, and that was John Chuckery. Earlier this week in the bullpen, I'm going to call him out by name.
You should.
He has no qualms doing that. Craig Carlos and I were in here. It was Tuesday night, Monday or Tuesday, whatever it was. I think it was Tuesday. And he said, look, guys, I'm going to be honest about Dansby. Like, Dave Stewart must have knew something about him because he fleeced us. He was not happy with Dansby. He thinks he's not going to be good. That they knew something, that Dave Stewart knew something about both Aaron Blair and Dansby Swanson to get rid of them, that it's going to, the Braves are going to be the laughing stock of this trade when it looks like Shelby Miller ends up being the best player in this trade. I have a couple issues with that. One, again, Dansby has played 80 games. Blair has appeared in, 8 Major League games?
Right.
But then you completely forget about the Gold Glove guy. Oh, what's his name? Oh, Enciarte, who was a part of that damn trade as well. These guys are going to end up being very good baseball players. Can we give them more than 6 months to show it?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's funny that you mentioned that back and forth with Chuckery, because you and I actually went back and forth on Twitter, and I was Team Jeff on that.
Yes, you were.
Let the record show that. But my reason being is that, I mean, dude, any one of those 3 guys that Atlanta got back would have been a great deal because, as I mentioned to you, Atlanta gave up Shelby Miller, who lost the Diamondbacks 12 games. And more than that, that was what his record showed.
Right.
But I think when he looked at his WAR, it was terrible, but he was giving up runs after run. He was clearly lost, and I like Shelby. He's a great dude. He's out on the DL right now after undergoing Tommy John surgery. I hope he rebounds nicely in Arizona. They don't really like him out there because they did give up Ender and Ciarte in a year when they could have used him. So, yeah, I mean, I love Chuck, but I thought he maybe jumped the gun a little bit early, and I know a lot of Atlanta fans they have as well. I mean, guys, relax. We're only into June. Calm down. Talk to me in a year from now when Swanson's not doing so well, if Blair hasn't come back to the big leagues. Ender's going to be fine. I think that trade in alone of itself was a steal.
But even going back to Dansby, right? I would rather see what he's doing now than what we had with Francoeur or what we had with Hayward, where guys came out balls on fire that first year
and then
tanked.
Yeah.
I would rather see a guy who's doing what Swanson did, batted 154 in April, up that to 225 in May, and he's progressively getting better, so we're seeing him improve before our eyes. Yes, if you look at the overall 192 average right now, it doesn't show that, but he's progressively getting better. I would rather have that than, again, have guys that come out and are on Sports Illustrated and ESPN Magazine and how they're the next world's greatest player, only to fall off the face of the earth.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that you have to look at, too, is, another guy that did it the right way would be Freddie Freeman, who came in, everyone talked about how great he was going to be, but his numbers weren't really there, and it took him 3 or 4 years to really build up his numbers. And now you're talking about a guy that before the injury was an MVP candidate, and I would argue that he was last year as well. And then the thing with Dansby, too, when I'm going back on the defense, he'll be okay. I mean, the Braves have Ron Washington out there, who's one of the best infield coaches you could have. He's currently the third base coach. I think in time, as in maybe next year, Ron Washington's going to end up being the manager. For those that are kind of familiar with that name, he was the Texas Rangers manager. He got fired after a little bit of incident where it snowed in Arlington, so to speak. And I'm not talking about the stuff that falls from the sky. But no, I think that it'll help out Dansby in the long run. He'll get his defense better. He'll start batting better. But again, what are you looking for out of that shortstop position? You're not looking for 30 home runs and RBIs. You're looking for a guy to get on base for a guy like Freddie. So that's going to be something to watch. But, we'll see. I mean, the team needs to definitely bounce back. Tonight's a stinger. I will say, though, that ballpark, Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, notorious for home runs. And, the Reds made it look easy there in the 10th.
404-741-0929. Solomon Brothers Diamond text line. Let's go out to Gainesville, though. Zach wants to chime in. Zach, you're 929 the game.
Hey, fellas, it's Zach. I was just calling to see what y'all think we should do first is get better pitching or better relief pitching? Because our relief pitching is just killing us every single night.
All right, Zach, I appreciate the call. I
think he kind of answered the question. We need pitching in general, right?
Right. I don't
take either.
Right. I don't necessarily know that there's a bigger problem between the two. I think pitching overall, but you also need somebody that's going to be consistent. I mean, you can't have an outing like this from Fulte and then come back, 5 days from now and have a two inning type of outing from him. You can't get R.A. Dickey to be good one night and then be abysmal the next. You've got to have some consistency. And I think we're going to get there. Of course, I keep saying that, wanting to be positive. pitching overall, though. Like, to me, it's not one's more important than the other. Pitching as a whole has to improve dramatically.
And whether they do that through bringing up their guys that they say aren't ready, which, I mean, well, I say that. You and I talked, I think, was it Monday night? We were saying that, that John Hart and John Coppolella said that, I mean, Sean Newcomb is ready.
Yeah.
A guy like Lucas Sims is ready. So if that's the case, then bring these guys up because, that big dead horse that the Braves are trying to carry across every night in the form of Bartolo Colon is not helping them. I asked Grant McCulley, he was up here earlier today. He's got his baseball show here on the Game tomorrow from 9 to 11. But I said, how long do they drag out this Bartolo Colon situation? He said maybe 2 starts. I would be shocked if they send Bartolo out there again and he gives up 5 runs in 1 inning or more, that he stays along. But we'll see what happens. Braves need pitching. Can we get it from anywhere?
We'll find out Monday night as Colon is scheduled to start Monday night here when they get back home. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Justin, I appreciate you.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, man. All right, coming up next, we're going to switch gears. The NBA Finals. Despite what happened last night, I think the Warriors should be worried. We'll talk about that next right here in Sports Radio 92.9 The Game.
Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. To be a true sports fan, you must believe in something. A belief in your team. Belief in strength. Belief in overcoming adversity. The belief that in this very moment, there's a chance to win. And that's why we're here. Because like you, we believe in sports. Sports Radio 92.9 The Game.
Okay, keep your eyes closed.
Okay.
I want to show you my first ever painting.
All right.
Okay. Open your eyes.
Oh, that's a lot of colors and shapes.
So be honest. What do you think?
Well, I like how if you switch to Geico, you could save hundreds of dollars on car insurance.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Here, why don't I hold your paintbrush while you call them?
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Hurry into Old Navy today and tomorrow to get jeans for the whole family on sale. Just $15 for adults, $12 for kids. Plus, starting today, redeem your Super Cash to save even more at Old Navy and OldNavy.com. Super Cash valid 6/3 to 6/11. Jeans valid 6/3 to 6/4. Select styles only.
Progressive brings you Flowetry with Flow.
When Flo flows, she flows in the know. Mind ruminates the rates. Shown them all, I heed the call. Seeing the rest, I choose the best. Sometimes it's ours, sometimes it's not. When the fox walks, is it called a fox trot? That's a real question.
Compare Progressive direct rates with competitors' rates. Visit Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Message and data rates may apply.
You're probably familiar with the term crash and burn. You know, a huge failure. But do you know the term burn and crash? That's when you take a fat burner that gives you a whole bunch of energy, but later you get the dreaded crash. Look, if you want to burn body fat, I mean really melt your fat during workouts so you look and feel great, try Lean Fire XT. It uses a new concept called thermovigilance that helps you burn fat from your waist, hips, thighs, all over, with virtually no jitters and no crash. For a limited time, every man and woman in America can try a complimentary bottle. Get yours by texting FLAME to 202020. Lean Fire XT comes from the award-winning experts at Force Factor, and it's already a top-selling diet pill at GNC because it works. Don't settle for less. Get your complimentary bottle by texting FLAME to 202020. If you burn too much fat, please decrease use of Lean Fire XT. That's FLAME to 2020.
We, the entertainment-loving people, demand the best unlimited wireless plan ever from AT&T.
I thought I raised you better than to make demands like that.
You know what? We want even more than that. We want AT&T to give us unlimited entertainment.
What else do you want, a flying car?
Well, maybe HBO included in our plan.
How about a unicorn?
And we want to watch all our favorite shows without paying overages.
Good luck with that.
And we want all of this, plus we want to save $25 on our monthly DirecTV bill.
But you can save me $25?
Well, yeah.
I'm proud of you, son.
Only AT&T offers you unlimited data with HBO included and never pay overages. Visit your local AT&T store and get AT&T Unlimited Plus, our best wireless deal on unlimited data. Plus, save $25 per month on DirecTV. It's entertainment your way.
After 22 gigabytes of data usage, AT&T may slow speeds. Plan includes Stream Saver and videos will stream in standard definition unless you turn it off. $25 DirecTV savings requires AT&T Unlimited Plus. Credits start within 3 bills. Service prices subject to change. Other usage, speed, fees, charges, and restrictions apply. See att.com/unlimited for details.
Progressive brings you Flowetry with Flow.
When Flo flows, she flows in the know. Mind ruminates the rates. Shown them all, I heed the call. Seeing the rest, I choose the best. Sometimes it's ours, sometimes it's not. When the fox walks, is it called a fox trot? That's a real question.
Compare Progressive Direct rates with competitors' rates. Visit Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Today, my new